The research paper as an argument paper. When we think of an argument, we often think of a heated argument where people are mad at each other, maybe even yelling at each other. But that's not the kind of argument that we have in mind here. We're thinking of something more analogous to a polite argument, a civil argument, a friendly argument. So imagine having a conversation with friends where one of your friends is trying to convince the other of your friends. It's not heated, it's not angry. We're just trying to convince the other person that we're right. That's the kind of argument that we have in mind here, analogous to a research paper. And the point is that a research paper is an argument paper. So the first question we need to ask is, what makes an argument? Well, first of all, there has to be a problem. Without a problem, there's not an argument. There also has to be a solution to the problem. Without the solution, there's no argument. And then finally, there needs to be support for the solution. And again, without that support, there's not an argument. We're looking specifically at research papers in this class. So a research paper is, by definition, an argument paper. But it's not the same as every other argument paper. So in a research paper, readers expect the research paper to present an argument. Therefore, every research paper is centered around a problem to be solved. And we'll talk about problems and what they consist of in another lecture video. The problem should be an empirical one in a research paper. In other words, it has to be one that can be solved through research. Which brings us to what a research paper is not. A research paper is not a how-to paper. A how-to paper does not try to persuade the audience that the approach is correct. It assumes it is correct. There is no argument in a how-to paper. Now, to me, one of the issues here is that students in college are very used to reading how-to genres, like textbooks. Textbooks are how-to. So the textbooks that we use in a writing course to instruct us on how to write. And the assumption is that the writer is an expert and they know the answer already. They don't have to convince you that they know the answer. They don't have to convince you that their solution is good. Therefore, they have no argument. The other thing a research paper is not is an opinion paper. An opinion paper has an argument, but the problem cannot be solved empirically. So, for example, an opinion piece on whether capital punishment is moral. That's not something we can solve empirically. That's a moral argument. There may be some empirical evidence to support the argument, but ultimately any argument about morality hinges on something that's outside of scientific empirical research. Another sort of opinion piece that I bring up, and it's kind of funny, but should one put ketchup on hot dogs? I think of this one because I was a fan of Bob Royko. He was a syndicated columnist who worked in Chicago for the Chicago Tribune. And he would write these op-ed pieces, often about politics, but often he would throw in a piece just about whether or not you should put ketchup on your hot dogs. And in his opinion, decidedly no. But obviously, this is an opinion. There's no way that you can back that up with purely empirical evidence. And he didn't try, obviously. He would bring forth other sorts of arguments to make his case. That's an opinion paper. That is not a research paper. A research paper hinges on empirical research.